Tensions in one of the world's most strategically vital waterways escalated sharply on May 4 as a confrontation unfolded between Iran and the United States in the Strait of Hormuz, an artery through which a significant portion of global energy supplies passes. The developments coincided with the launch of a new U.S. initiative announced by Donald Trump, adding further complexity to an already volatile regional landscape. According to reports emerging from Iranian state-linked outlets, a U.S. Navy vessel operating near the strait came under direct warning from Iranian naval forces. The situation quickly intensified when Iranian sources claimed that 2 missiles were fired toward the American warship after it allegedly ignored instructions to halt it. Movement. The incident reportedly took place near the coastal area of Jask, a location that has long held strategic significance due to its proximity to the narrow maritime passage. Iranian media suggested that the U.S. vessel altered its course and withdrew following the confrontation, portraying the episode as a demonstration of Tehran's resolve to assert control over its surrounding waters. However, officials in Washington firmly rejected claims that the warship had been struck, emphasizing that no damage had been sustained. At the time, there was no immediate detailed statement from the U.S. military, leaving room for competing narratives to shape early perceptions of the incident. The standoff unfolded on the same day that Trump announced the launch of Project Freedom, a U.S.-led initiative aimed at addressing mounting concerns over commercial shipping stranded in and around the Strait of Hormuz. The project, according to initial remarks, was framed as a humanitarian effort to assist neutral vessels caught in what has increasingly become a high-risk maritime zone. Speaking about the initiative, Donald Trump said, "For the good of Iran, the Middle East, and the United States, we have told these countries that we will guide their ships safely out of these restricted waterways so that they can freely and ably get on with their business." Many of these ships are running low on food and everything else necessary for large-scale crews to stay on board in a healthy and sanitary manner. The statement underscored the administration's attempt to position the operation as both a humanitarian and strategic move, particularly as reports indicated that numerous ships had been stranded for extended periods with dwindling supplies. Yet shortly after the announcement, U.S. officials offered clarification that suggested a more restrained operational scope than initially implied. Rather than deploying naval escorts to physically guide vessels through the strait, the United States outlined plans to establish a maritime coordination mechanism. This system would focus on identifying safe routes, sharing navigational intelligence, and coordinating with commercial shipping operators and allied navies. The revised description marked a notable shift from an image of direct naval intervention to a more advisory and surveillance-oriented approach. It also reflected the delicate balance Washington appears to be trying to maintain, asserting influence in the region without triggering outright military escalation. The operational backbone of Project Freedom is being supported by United States Central Command, which confirmed that its forces began integrating the initiative into their broader regional security framework starting May 4. CENTCOM emphasized the global stakes involved, noting that the Strait of Hormuz typically handles roughly 1/5 of the world's seaborne oil and liquefied natural gas shipments. To support the mission, a significant array of military assets has been mobilized. These include more than 100 aircraft spanning maritime patrol, fighter and surveillance roles. In addition, advanced unmanned systems ranging from drones to unmanned surface vessels are being deployed to detect potential threats such as naval mines and suspicious maritime activity. Approximately 15,000 U.S. personnel across the Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman are expected to contribute, primarily in logistics, intelligence, and support capacities. Despite these preparations, the U.S. approach stopped short of full-scale naval escort operations, signaling a deliberate effort to avoid provoking further confrontation while still maintaining a visible and capable presence. On the Iranian side, officials responded with sharp warnings. Ibrahim Azizi, who heads the Iranian parliament's Foreign Policy Committee, made it clear that Tehran views any U.S. intervention in the strait with deep suspicion. Ibrahim Azizi said, "Any American interference in the new maritime regime of the Strait of Hormuz will be considered a violation of the ceasefire. The Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf would not be managed by Trump's delusional posts. no one would believe blame game scenarios. His remarks highlighted Iran's position that external involvement, particularly by the United States, could destabilize what it describes as an existing ceasefire framework. The language used also reflected the broader rhetorical escalation that has accompanied military posturing in the region. Meanwhile, Trump signaled that the United States is prepared to respond forcefully if its operations are challenged, suggesting that while the mission is being framed as humanitarian, it carries clear strategic and military implications. As these tensions played out, another alarming development emerged near the coast of the United Arab Emirates. A commercial tanker was reportedly struck by unidentified projectiles approximately 78 nautical miles north of Fujairah, a major Emirati port city. According to maritime monitoring authorities, all crew members aboard the vessel were safe, but the source of the attack remained unknown at the time. The United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations issued an advisory urging vessels in the region to exercise extreme caution. The warning reinforced concerns that the strait and surrounding waters have become increasingly unpredictable, with multiple actors operating under heightened alert conditions. Shipping activity in the Gulf has already been significantly affected. Many companies have chosen to reroute or delay voyages due to security concerns, leading to a noticeable decline in traffic. The situation has been further complicated by what analysts describe as a dual blockade dynamic, where both Iran and the United States are enforcing their own overlapping security measures. Data from maritime intelligence firm Axis Marine indicated that as of late April, approximately 900 cargo ships remained stranded in the Gulf, unable to safely transit the strait. While this number represents a decrease from earlier figures exceeding 1,100 vessels, it still underscores the scale of disruption facing global shipping networks. The economic implications are considerable. Any sustained disruption in the Strait of Hormuz has the potential to impact global energy prices, supply chains, and broader market stability. The waterway's importance cannot be overstated, making it a focal point not just for regional actors, but for the international community as a whole. Amid these developments, the broader geopolitical context continues to evolve. Diplomatic channels remain active, with discussions reportedly involving major global players as efforts continue to prevent the situation from escalating into a wider conflict. At the same time, the presence of military assets and the exchange of warnings indicate that the margin for miscalculation remains narrow. What emerges from the unfolding scenario is a complex interplay of military signaling, economic stakes, and political messaging. The launch of Project Freedom, the reported confrontation at sea, and the tanker incident collectively paint a picture of a region on edge, where strategic calculations are being tested in real time. As events continue to develop, the Strait of Hormuz remains at the center of global attention, a narrow passage with outsized influence where even minor incidents carry the potential for far-reaching consequences.